Well, they finally did it. Welcome back to YellowCard Vanguard, and today I'll be starting a new series which I haven't actually come up with the name yet. The Link Joker Watch, the Link Joker Case Files, I don't know. But all we do know is that Bushiroad have finally shown us what V-era Link Joker is going to look like. And so these videos are going to be a very freeform style. I've got no script planned, I'm not going to do any fancy editing. It's just going to be me talking into the camera for God knows how long about whatever comes to mind. So I would like to make at least one of these a week. If that's too often, or maybe not often enough, feel free to let me know, or depends on my mood. Like, I might say I'm not making one this week, or I might say I'll make multiple this week, depending on what there is to talk about. But yeah, for now, let's just improvise, go with the flow, and see how it turns out. So, no information itself has actually been revealed. All we know is that V-era Link Joker is definitely going to be Deleter. Now, before I talk about this and the implications it has, I want to talk a bit more about the design issues we had before the V-era, especially when it comes to archetypes. So, for those of you who are aware, or those of you who aren't aware, I'll just reiterate some of the points just so we're all up to speed. In the G-era, and well, before G-era, when Link Joker first got introduced, we had a bunch of nameless stuff that just worked together. Predominantly, we had the Schwarzschild ride engine, ride chain, and then we had Infinite Zero break ride. And there was this kind of a mishmash here and there, like the counter blast 1, deal 1 damage, or something, heal at the end of turn was not a Star Vader. And only really like within the first year of Link Joker being existed did we start getting the Star Vader support. And this was obviously based around Infinite Zero himself, the break ride, as we went into Nebula Lord and so on and so forth. So this was obviously based around the break ride Infinite Zero along with Nebula Lord, one of the first limit breaks we had. And then from that point onwards, we just got more and more Star Vaders. We had Glendios and Chaos and so on and so forth, and it just spiraled out of control from there. And it was only when Deleter got introduced very, very late on, like just before G season, that we had something that wasn't all Star Vader. And then we had the Deleters come in for a bit, and then they kind of got forgotten. Then G happened, and we got Messiah. And I'm sure that it was by design that the Messiah stuff and the Star Vader stuff did not interact very well within the first year or so of G era. I mean, can you imagine if like Chaos and other Star Vaders had access to like sacrifice Messiah that early on? Oof. But unfortunately what happened was that then, instead of starting them with separate streams and then moving into one big archetype where you could pick and choose, they kind of kept this archetype design thing going for a very long time. Like, even in other clans we saw that towards the end of Royal Paladin G era we had Blasters was one thing, and then Altmile Brave was a whole other thing, and it was very hard to mix them. And in the same way we had Chaos was just its own thing, it got dedicated support, while the rest of Star Vaders got left behind really. Like, the Legions got left behind, Break Rides got left behind, sure we got Quintessence Dragon, we got Glue Ball, but nothing was as dedicated as Chaos. And then Messiah was obviously the poster child of G-Link Joker, so it's fair enough that they got all their pieces. And Deleter's got stuff here and there enough to make them their own viable archetype. But you only ever saw like pure Messiah decks or pure Deleter decks. There was a short period of time during I think 2015-16 where people were playing Chaos Messiah, and that was only because Messiah on its own was too weak and Chaos gave you the draw power to make it work. And even then I think the deck as a whole was just not good. Like, I definitely remember in 2016 Springfest I had the choice of playing anything I wanted for Link Joker, and I decided actually pure Chaos was just better. Like, having the inconsistency of Messiah pieces was just not worth it, and you could do enough with the GB8 that pure Chaos could actually win games on its own. And then even now, like, you're still seeing only Chaos decks, you're seeing only Messiah, you're seeing only Deleters, and there's very little overlap, which I think is very sad. And it's a very hard thing to fix because it's almost like a snowball effect that once you start designing for archetype specific things, you have to keep it archetype specific, otherwise it just goes down the drain. Like, if anything says your grade 3 Vanguard with the Messiah name does something, if you then print a good grade 3 that's not a Messiah, it's probably not going to get played just because it doesn't fulfill the condition. So if you start playing Star Vaders and then there's this really good grade 2 card that's not a Star Vader, you suddenly don't want to play it, because what if you're on grade 2 and you need a Star Vader Vanguard to do things? Like, I think, I'm going to say this a lot, but Short Child is my favourite Link Joker deck, and it's not very good, I know, but I just wish it was good. And every time I try and sit down and like rebuild Short Child and make it good again, it's just like, I can't play Photon because I'm not a Star Vader Vanguard. I can't play 12k beaters because I'm not a Star Vader Vanguard. What can I do? Virtually nothing, and that's just crushing. And even though the two big grade 3s we have in the V season are Confirmed V Deleter, we have Greyon and Great Hole. I'm really hoping that they don't make it specific. Like, obviously the deleter's mechanic is that they retire their own rear guards for effects to delete your opponent or vanish delete, but I'll get to that in a second. I'm hoping that it doesn't say choose 2 of your rear guards with deleter in the name and retire them, for example. Like, one card I would really want them to reprint in the V era is Colony Maker, and I want them to make a 10k body, and I want it to be non-specific. So grade 2, 10k, on call or when placed, if your opponent has a locked card, counterblast 1, deck search for any grade 1 and call it to rearguard circle to shuffle your deck. Like, that would go a long way in making the rest of the deck very, very good, while simultaneously making the older decks better. Like, for example, I would absolutely replace Photon in a heartbeat with her, because then you can just call the new Colony Maker, who's still a 10k body, fetch the Paradigm Shift, and then still get the back row lock for virtually nothing, like 1 counterblast, whatever. But then this introduces a new factor, which is, if you want to play pure deleter, and then old deleters in premium, and you add these new grey on the grade hole, sure, because they're still deleter in name, they work with all your old things. But then you think, what if Chaos tries to play these new deleters? Obviously they're not Star Vaders, so you lose a lot of effects there, but maybe it's worth it for the Force Marker, maybe it's worth it for the potential on-ride delete, if that's what they do. We don't know what the effects do yet. It causes a lot of potential issues with the older stuff, which is already so archetype specific. I guess the good thing about saying, oh, looking at the Vanguard name, it's easier to design rather than say, like, your rear guards that do this. Because as good as Colony Maker is, let's say they reprint the Colony Maker I just said. Like, let's say that comes out to print. You would obviously play it in Chaos. Would you play the Messiah? Probably, because Messiah cares about the race, not the name, so that's all fine. Would you play in Deleters? Now, that's a question. Because obviously the grade 1s you can fetch in Deleters are pretty decent. Like, especially if it's grade 1 or less. You fetch your stand triggers, you fetch your extra starters that replace themselves when you retire them. But it's not a deleter name. And that, even though they're trying to encourage premium to be mostly mixed in with new stuff, it makes it very hard to do. So I'm kind of worried about how they're going to approach the archetype problem. Like, the best solution I think is to make all the VR stuff completely non-archetype dependent, and just have bits here and there that favor certain archetypes. Like, it's very hard to favor Messiah in any way, because Messiah can just use whatever the hell they want. And obviously we've got 2 deleter grade 3s. It would be nice to have a Star Vader Force Marker grade 3, if possible, that was generic in effect, but the effect itself tended towards Star Vader, like, say, Vanguard, Rearguard, on hit, counterblast 1 lock. I don't know. Or just the fact that it has a Star Vader in its name is good enough. And obviously the Colony Maker is obviously very good in Star Vader, playable in Messiah, unusable in Deleter, outside of V Deleter, which is fine. But then it's, you get to the more high-end stuff, like the triggers. How do you divide your triggers? Are you going to make them all deleters, in which case Star Vader's like, haha, you can't play 10k triggers? Or are you going to be with a half-half split, like deleter gets some, Star Vader gets some, and no one's happy? Because obviously you can't print 2 sets of triggers. That's just not okay. What, 8 heals, 12 crits, 8 draws? Like, I really hope that that doesn't happen. Like, we'll have to see how it goes, but when the set is called Vanish, like Delete End, and they're putting such an emphasis on Delete Ibuki in the manga, it makes me really sad that I don't get to play 10k triggers and Star Vaders. Like, Messiah doesn't care, but Star Vaders definitely does, and that's just like, So, yeah, that's my big gripe for now. Like, I really hope that they think about the impact this will have on Premium, because as sad as it is, I think right now in Premium, the best Link Joker build is actually now Chaos. just because Chaos can deal with Geese relatively well, it can deal with Oracle Think Tank kind of well, and it destroys Luard. That's like, those are the, I think, some of the three most important decks. Like, every build of Link Joker will lose to DI because Enigmatic Assassin is stupid and you have no answer for early rush. So hopefully they'll give us an answer for that as well. And funnily enough, big triggers are the best answer for that. But I'm not that hopeful for now. But yeah, like a 10k crit would be super nice for Star Vader. That's just all I'm asking for. Because let's be realistic here. Deleters up until now play 12 stand nearly all the time. Some people played the crit that shuffled itself back into the deck just for crit potential. And even then, like, I think for a deck like Deleter, you'd rather have the effect where it can shuffle itself back into the deck to continue giving your Vanguard pressure rather than a 10k trigger. The downside to Delete, obviously, is that when you set your opponent's Vanguard's power to 0 and they get a new defensive trigger, they become 10k again. Like, all they've done is lost 2k, which is not super relevant when it comes to the columns hitting numbers. Like, you play the 10k vanilla, you play 10k attackers, you play 5k boosters in your stand triggers. I'm talking fully from a premium standpoint here, by the way, so if you're interested in standard, feel free to tune out and then I'll let you know when to come back in. But for premium, your columns are usually 10, 15, sometimes 20, and then you had your big Vanguard, which was usually 11, sometimes 16, sometimes 18, whatever, and then your other side column, which was 9 plus some number, whatever you're boosting, because you have given. And obviously if they hit a defensive trigger with just 10k, that just gets completely nullified, which is really, really dumb. So I'm not sure about Link Joker being forced for that reason, but we'll see. I know that if Link Joker had been Protect, like we all predicted at first, it would have been absolutely stupid, like beyond stupid. Yeah, I don't know about Given. I actually want to talk about Given in a second. That's going to come a lot later. For now, I think it's just more of a case of it's very hard to make Delete balanced. Like, it's either going to be too good or absolutely garbage. There are some people are speculating that maybe Delete gets rid of Force markers or Excel markers or even Protect markers, but it's not a symmetrical effect, which is therefore awful. Like, if you're against a Protect clan and then they just like spam their Protect markers early, then they've got no markers to destroy and your Delete loses value. That's why I highly doubt it's going to be something to do with getting rid of your opponent's markers. But as it is, I feel like Delete is actually really, really weak going into Standard, where defensive triggers basically negates your Delete, and deleting a field is not really relevant because this format rewards rewriting grade 3 anyway, so what's the point? Which is why I was originally hoping that it would be very Star Vader focused, but I guess they said they want to keep it true to the manga, so I can't blame them. I just now hope that it's not all about Delete and we get some lock. Mainly because it would be good to balance lock and Delete, because if Delete's going to be as weak as it is in Standard, then obviously we don't have full lock like Chaos, because that's just not fun to play against. But we do need some board control to make the threat of Delete a valid threat. Who knows, maybe we'll get some like anti-ride grade 3s, like, or even that grade 2 that came out of the last EB for Galaxy Stargate that stops your opponent from riding or striding. That would be nice, but you also then need to make sure that Delete doesn't then become too broken on its own, which is why I think lock is a good alternative there. Yeah, so next is the big elephant in the room, Given. We already know we're getting Greyon and Greydol. Their names are locked in, and Given works with any Grey Vanguard, which is not good. So already in Premium, you're going to get a 13k base with a Force marker that's definitely going to restand. Yikes, I'm already planning some ideas, and I already know that's going to be absolutely busted, so I'll test, and obviously you guys will definitely see some deck profile videos from me on, I'll probably stream my testing, but I don't think that's going to be good for the game. Whereas, whether or not the new grade 3s are actually good is remains to be seen, but you're making Deleter, which was already probably the best Link Joker deck in the format, even better. I think that's a really, really dangerous line to play with. So, new Given, V-Given, needs to be absolutely garbage. Like, if they make it do anything near what G given does, then Premium Deleter is going to be really, really awful. Of course, like I said, delete is still completely mitigated by the fact that imaginary gifts rewards rewriting grade 3. So maybe it's actually not as bad as I thought. But for now, I'm going to be tentative and say that I'm really not looking forward to what it could do. Just out of the sheer threat alone. So yeah, this is one time that I'm not super happy with their design philosophy. Because sure, they're sticking to the manga, but they haven't stuck exactly to manga up until now. So they weren't forced to make V-Link Joker deleters. They could have made it Star Vader. They could have made it Short again. They could have made it whatever. So hopefully they'll have the foresight to add some non-deleter stuff to the V season to both support Premium, like Chaos and Messiah that is, while also not making Premium Deleter absolutely insane. But for now I'm still hopeful. Like, while the stuff she's shown so far has not given me confidence, I'm not going to condemn it just yet. I'm still very excited for Link Joker, and I'm almost certainly going to buy 4 SVRs and 4 ORs no matter what happens. But I'm sure that there is room for improvement, and I have faith that Bushiroad will show us that improvement. But yeah, so I've been going for like 15 minutes now, which is much longer than I anticipated. I was only expecting to be here for like 7 or so minutes, which is twice as long already. But yeah, this was the free flow sort of discussion I was going for. Not so much a rant, like, it's a bit ranty in times, so I've apologized for that. But yeah, if this is probably what I'm going to make every week, just talking about what's been shown, talking about what I want to see next, talking about how it interacts with each other. It's going to stay largely not too high level, just because I appreciate that not everyone plays and cares about Link Joker the way I do. I know that I have a few friends, and there are a few people in the community that are really, really into Link Joker, like my fellow Malaysian judge Kenneth Lim, David Gowland, another UK player who's very talented, Caelan Fallon, another UK Messiah player who's very skilled. Like, we have a lot of... The people who care about Link Joker definitely care a lot about it, but I know that not all of you viewers care as much as I do, so I'm trying to keep it accessible for everyone. If you guys want to see my a much longer, more in-depth video where I talk about how it interacts with specific cards, how the Link Joker game plan is meant to work and how it's going to go forward, then I can definitely make those. I'm happy to talk about Link Joker all day, every day. It's just the case of what you guys want to see from us going forward, or because my time's pretty limited and I want to make what you guys want to watch. So yeah, please let me know, like, whether you want to see more of this, whether you want to see less of this, and whether you want me to have more structure. I can definitely plan a structure. Just, yeah, any feedback is good feedback in my eyes. But yeah, otherwise, I'm going to sign off for now. As always, you can follow us on social media, on Twitter, on Discord is the best way to get hold of us. Subscribe, bell button, etc. All the usual things. And hopefully I will have these videos out quite regularly, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.